How does the law of attraction work? It is simpler than any of us really have ever realized. It is simply the resonance of our own being, creating the world that we see. And inside of every one of us is a pulsing beam of energy that is interacting with the world that is around us. And as absurd as that sounds, each and every one of us knows that this is true. We all have those moments when things just work out for us in ways that we couldn't have imagined. A near miss, a chance encounter that was exactly what we needed at that moment. The same is true when nothing goes our way and we feel doomed to have the same luck throughout our existence. We are constantly projecting our own consciousness out into the world. And it is like a radio frequency that tunes itself with the frequency of circumstances that depict our expectations. All circumstances are out there. There are so many things that are just out there happening that it could really be quite dangerous to all of us if it weren't for this organizing principle. We don't all get run over by trucks or catch fatal diseases each day when we're on this planet, even though those things exist. There are countless things that exist right now next to us all the time, so many hazards and dangers that we somehow avoid. This guiding principle of like attracts like is actually evident throughout the universe if we care to notice it. The same way that gravity keeps us in place in the cosmos, the law of attraction keeps us navigating our way through life based on the thoughts that are in our minds. We largely create by habit, which leads us into many similar pathways to the caregivers around us. The expectations that we have of our peers and mentors plays a huge part in this. The thoughts that we hold and the expectations of our results creates for us like a bandwidth of possibility where we are constantly relaying to the world around us what we expect to see. The reality out there and the consciousness that we hold cannot be separated. The reality out there in of itself doesn't really exist except in waves of energy. But our consciousness and the body computer gives it life through our sensations and our perceptions. When Columbus first arrived on the shores of America, the ancient Indians couldn't really see the ships on the horizon. They had no concept of the idea of a ship. But when one of the leaders of the tribe spoke the word of ship, or a close approximation in their language, suddenly all of the Indians could see the ships. They had instantaneously opened themselves up to seeing the ships because they respected the tribal leader enough that the concept was opened up for them, and ships became part of their awareness. We all do this with everything that we encounter. Whenever we have a circumstance or situation in our lives, we identify what this means to us. We decide whether or not something is good or bad. If it is identified as bad, then we send out a very strong pulse from our being, which then aligns us with more circumstances that mean bad to us that are similar. This is what I mean when I say the vibration. It's this guiding principle that hones us in to the vibration that we have, resonating with circumstances like a magnet. And the same is true for things that feel good. When we are in that good space, it seems that our luck is always with us. Things just go our way. We maybe win at card games. We find that people start calling us all the time. And everywhere we go, when we smile, we feel that good fortune coming back to us. And of course, it is so evident that when we smile at someone, they always smile back. When we are hurt or upset, we are holding that vibration and calling all things that are in that vicinity to us. And of course, it is okay to be hurt for a while. This is natural. However, when we get hung up on negative feelings unnecessarily, or find ourselves locking into depictions of the world that fill us with angst or frustration, anger or resentment, then we carry that with us like a looking glass, constantly focusing on the negative aspects of the reality around us, even though inherently they have no meaning whatsoever. And we only see things that are like that. We see injustice more and more, and we feel that that is reality. That is the way the world works. However, it is only reality in that we have tuned into that kind of thing. There are all things around us in the world. There are so many bits of data that are around us in every moment that it is impossible to be aware of everything. And the mind has a natural filter that really can only accept things that are relevant for us. And not only is it selecting the things that are relevant to our belief that we are holding in our minds, but ideas start to come up for us that reflect these phrases. People are nasty. My life is unfair. Our vibration is calling to our attention all the things that are relevant for our state of being. And Bashar always says, circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters.
Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. And again, listen to the way that this synchronistically translates in your English language. Circumstances don't matter. They do not create materialization.
And this really means that circumstances don't really create. They are just things out there. What matters, what actually turns things into matter, are our states of being, which is what we are thinking. Because remember, the circumstances out there are just things. Without the consciousness to interact with the reality that we experience, there is no external reality. It's only when we add our consciousness to it that it becomes something that we can interpret through the body computer.